Our flower's made up of 3 strips. The first one will be a plain strip, so we're going to set the size for that. Now I'm going to be using inch measurements. Now if you've got yours set up for centimetres, this is how you can change it. You don't have to have inches, but just in case you're not sure, go to File, Preferences, and then if you choose measurements, you can decide whether you want millimetres, centimetres or whatever. I've got mine set in inches for the moment, so I'm going to keep it at that. And say OK, and I want a long strip, so I'm going to take the rectangle and I'm just going to drag out a long strip. I'm not too worried about the size at the moment, but I can select that and I can go up to the scale window, which is this one up here, and I can set my width and height in here. So I'm going to make my strip 10 inches long by 1/4 of an inch wide, so I want 0.25, and I can say apply, and then I've got one of the quilling strips. Now we can make as many as we can cover the whole page in these if we want. If you're going to be cutting out of different coloured card, you might want to cut a lot of these strips at the same time. We only actually need one per flower, but if we wanted to make some more, we can go to the replicate window and we can choose a column of 3 or 4. So if we say column of 4, first of all we need to select it, column of 4, and that will put 3 more underneath the one that we've wanted, so we've actually got 4 in total. What you have to be careful of if you do that is that these lines in here will be a top line, and on this one it'll be a bottom line of that 3rd one and the top line of the 4th one, so you'll get a double cut there. So you might just want to move them apart a little bit if you want to cut 4 separate ones. We're only going to be using one for the moment, so we just keep one, but we do want to keep these other 2 strips as well, so we're just going to delete one of them for the moment. Now we're going to set up this is our middle strip. We're going to set up the next one. So going to take the circle tool, hold down the shift key and drag out a circle. By holding down the shift key, it will keep our item actually circular. So let go of the tool, then let go of the shift key. Now select that. I'm going to go back up to the scale and I'm going to set that at 0.25 because I just want to get a small circle. We want it completely circular. That top one didn't hold there. There we go. It's not holding the bottom one. There we are. And say apply. Now we've got a small circle. We want this circle to fit on this line, but we want another little bit underneath. So I'm just going to take the circle tool again and just draw myself out a small oval. So round about in the centre, we can move it where we want it. Select both of them, go up to the modify window and click on weld, and you can see you've got a little shape that looks a bit like a light bulb, and these are going to be fixed on this line. Now what we're going to do is we want them to go right the way across. So if we select, and we go up to the replicate window and we do a row of 4 and we hit that 8 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think perhaps I'll have another one. I'll put 9 in there, and I'm going to just take the end one and move it over, drag a box around all of them, go to the align window. First of all, because I've moved that one, I want to make sure it's in exactly the same alignment with the other, so I'll align at the top, and also I want to space horizontally, and that will just move them out between the gap that I had at the end, that last one, and the gap in between. Let's just move our line up. Yes, that's okay. If we wanted it a little bit, say we need a little bit more, we could move one over a little bit more and do a space horizontally again, but that's okay. So we're just going to move that up so it just covers the bottom little portion. Select them all, go up to the modify window and weld, and that's our next bit of our flower. And then lastly we're going to come onto the outside petals. So again we're going to take the circular tool, but this time I'm going to do an oval shape. Again, I'm not going to worry about the size for the moment because I'm going to go to my scale window, and I want this one to be around about 1/2 inch tall, so we want 0.50 above and 0.3 wide. You can make these whatever size you want, but I've been playing around with it today, and this is the size that gives us a reasonable sized flower. Just don't forget to say apply. There we've got the top part of our petal, and again we want the bottom part, so just draw another little oval in there, select both of them and weld. Do exactly the same thing again, bring it down roughly in line where you want it. So go to the replicate window, select it, and we want a row of 4 again, and we're going to do that 8 or 9 times again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's put in 9. Move the last one over to where we think it's got to be. I deliberately put that one a little bit higher so you can see what's going to happen. Now we want them all in a row, so if we go to the align and we hit align top, you'll see that they all move so that they're all together. Now we space horizontally and they'll all move over to fill up the gap. Now I think they're a little bit too close together there, so if we want them further apart, let's just take 2 out for the moment. Select them and we delete those. Select our box again and space horizontally again. They've moved over to fill up the gap. I think that looks a little bit better. And we can put our bottom tape on, select them all, modify and weld. Now we've got our 3 pieces of our flower. That's the centre part, the little petals that go around the centre and the top. Now if we wanted to cut out more of these, we can duplicate, copy and paste, or duplicate and put them all in a row. Or another thing we can do is we can select it, go up to the replicate, we can duplicate up above, like left, right, or whatever, or we could turn one upside down if we want to, which makes quite a nice easy option. But again, I'd move them apart about a little bit, because otherwise that centre one will cut that line twice. So if we do that, we can select them, go down to the bottom and group. Now you can move that about and you've got them fixed together. The same with that one. If we had several of them, we can group them together. We can do the same with that one. Mirror below, move it apart a little bit, select them and group. We've got 2 flowers there, but that one we've only got 1. So duplicate below or mirror below, it doesn't matter with that one. Select them and group them. So we would cut 2 flowers, but you wouldn't really want to cut that all on one sheet because it'd all be the same coloured card. Now I would save that, go to File, Save As, and call that flower or whatever. And then when you want to cut these, I would bring the file back in, maybe delete those couple because you've got that file saved. And we can select that one. You might as well cut, say, let's say 3 on one sheet of paper, so you'd be able to make 6 flowers there, and you don't need to make them all at the same time. Obviously you can keep them for later. Go up to cutting settings and decide whether you're going to cut them on paper, card or whatever. Adjust your settings and then cut your petal parts out, and then we'll come on to assembling.